welcome to another episode of Teen Book Babble, the series where our teen services team talks about some of our most recent reads. I'm Randy, and today I'm going to talk about March by John Lewis. There are 3 books in this graphic novel trilogy. We have March Book 1, Book 2, and Book 3. So these are written by John Lewis, and they are graphic novels, so there are other people involved in the project, including Andrew Aiden and Nate Powell. So this graphic novel trilogy chronicles the life of Congressman John Lewis, from early childhood on his family's farm, through his struggles for civil and human rights, all the way up to Barack Obama's presidential inauguration in January 2009. So Lewis recounts his involvement in the Civil Rights Movement and the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, including his experiences as a nonviolent protester at lunch counter sit-ins, as a freedom writer, through marches, including the March on Washington and the 3 different marches from Selma to Montgomery, and the whole movement's tireless efforts to register Black voters, Black American voters, and effect a real change in the United States at the state and federal levels. I really liked this whole series. These books are important, particularly with everything that is going on in our country today. Not only was I able to learn more about the civil rights movement, but I also learned more about the key figures and everyday Black Americans who struggled and fought for equality in the face of overwhelming hatred. And they did this with faith, conviction, and strength. Reading through, it feels like, Congressman Lewis is, like telling you this story himself, like you're having a conversation where he's recounting all these pivotal moments in history. And along with that, I also liked the black and white imagery, because it is so important in illustrating, obviously it's a graphic novel, in illustrating the seriousness and the gravity of what all these young people were going through to fight for their own rights, for the rights of others, for equality, and racial justice. So I highly recommend all 3 of these graphic novels, and I would encourage you to pick them up today. I also wanted to highlight a teen volunteer recommendation. This is also a graphic novel, and this book is called Displacement. It's by Kiku Hughes. It is kind of a historical fantasy. It was just released in 2020, and it's kind of an interesting mix of real-life occurrences and the fantasy of time travel. So, 16-year-old Kiku is on vacation in San Francisco when suddenly she finds herself displaced to a 1940s Japanese-American internment camp, the same camp that her grandmother, Ernestina, was forcibly relocated to during World War II. So she keeps flashing back and forth between the present and to the 1940s until she finds herself stuck. She's stuck in this internment camp. So she's living alongside her young grandmother and other Japanese American citizens, and so she's getting an education that she never received in history class. This book was recommended by Ariadna. And this is what she had to say about it. She feels like this graphic novel allows the reader to understand more about what the Japanese Americans went through when they were placed in the internment camps in the 1940s. The images are amazing, and the storyline is intriguing. She feels that it provides a new perspective on what really happened in the internment camps. So where can you find these items? Well, March, all 3 volumes, and Displacement are both available at Fountaindale in print. March is also available as an ebook through Hoopla and Overdrive. So I recommend checking out all of them today. And now we're going to hear from Kelsey and see what she's reading right now.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Team Book Babble. My name's Kelsey, and today I'm going to be talking about And I Darken by Kiersten White. It is the first book in a trilogy called the Conqueror's Saga. This historical fiction novel follows the two of the children of Vlad Dracul, Prince of Wallachia. Their names are Lada, who's the older one, and Radu. Ladislav, which is Lada for short, is ferocious, fierce. She loves fighting with the other noble children. She's an absolute tomboy. She is strong. She is, as her dad says, feral at times. And she has a ton of energy and doesn't let anybody step on her. Basically, she's everything her father would have wanted in a son. But she's not a son. And Radu, by contrast, may be a boy, but he's nothing like what his father would have wanted. He's very shy and sweet. He avoids conflict like the plague, and he's very, very handsome and good looking, but that doesn't count for much in the Wallachian court, and neither do his graceful manners. Now, one day, after their older half-brother Mercia betrays their father, Vlad, he takes the two of them to Edirne, which is the capital of the Ottoman Empire at the time, so that he can beg for the Sultan's aid in reclaiming his throne. The Sultan agrees, but on the condition that he keeps both Lada and Radu in the Ottoman Empire as sort of collateral to ensure that Vlad doesn't go back on their agreement and betray the Sultan. This makes Lada extremely angry because she considers her homeland Wallachia to be her mother in a way. She is extremely patriotic and she sees her father's actions as cowardly and a betrayal. And Radu is also really, really wounded at first at being abandoned by their father, even though he slowly starts to make a place for himself in the Ottoman Empire when the two of them befriend the Sultan's third son, Mehmed. Now, Mehmed, being the third son, never thought he would ascend to the throne of the Ottoman Empire, until somebody takes those pesky two older brothers out of the way for him. So this is actually based on the lives of two real historical figures, two brothers, Radu the Handsome and Vlad the Impaler. So this is an alternate history where instead of having two younger sons, he had a son and a daughter. So Lada is actually based on Vlad the Impaler. But what would have happened if he were born a girl? And I absolutely love both the prose in this story and how it's written, and I also like a lot of the sort of internal conflict between what people expect of certain genders and how it actually expresses. So between the two, Lada and Radu, Lada is actually the more masculine of the two, whereas Radu is the more sort of traditionally seen as feminine. He's very, very handsome, hence the historical figure's name, Radu the Handsome. And he's also very, very clever and emotionally intelligent. He knows how to use his looks and his charm to manipulate people, and he actually ends up sort of excelling in the Ottoman Empire's court life. Lada, however, views that as weak and lying and not being true to yourself, and despite spending almost all of her childhood in the Ottoman Empire from the time she's 12, she still sees herself as fiercely Wallachian and fiercely loyal to Wallachia. And just between those conflicts and the really, really strong characters themselves, it is really an enchanting and engrossing read. And the good thing is we have plenty of ways for you to access this one. We have it available in print, and it is also available along with the second book in the trilogy, Now I Rise, on Overdrive and Access 360 in both ebook and e-audio. So you guys should definitely take your chance and check it out. And another thing it has too, which I forgot to mention, but I'm going to mention now, it has some really, really good LGBT representation. And I'm not going to tell you too much more than that because I think you would do best discovering it for yourselves. You can definitely either place a hold online or in the library, or go ahead and check it out on your technical devices. And hopefully we will see you guys next time.
Thanks, Kelsey. We hope you've enjoyed what we had to say today about some of the books that we're reading. If you are looking for volunteer hours, we're looking for book recommendations from our teen readers to post on our blog, website, and social media. You can submit a book recommendation to earn service hours. So visit fountaindale.org/teenvolunteer for all the details and start recommending your favorite books, and we'll include them in our Teen Book Babble. If you want more recommendations, visit our website at fountaindale.org/teenreads to view book lists curated just for you. That's all we have for today. We'll see you next time.